So I am at the Kansas City airport for my...
What? Why are you reacting like that already?
The blonde tips, the tattoos, probably flying from Portland. I just, you can't make this. Like if I had to draw who I thought this was gonna look like.
Hey guys.
Are you having a stroke?
All right.
Keep it in too. You have to keep, that's what she said.
Ew. Anyway, hey guys.
No, that's what a Mormon said.
It's
It's called soaking.
Why we're not
Is
talking
that what
about
it's called?
soak. Yes, and it's absolutely insane.
Keep all of this in.
God. Hey guys, welcome back to Normal Gays, where we take on LGBT insanity or just insanity in general. I'm Brad Polumbo here with Clarkson
What's up,
Lawson.
guys? Now, before we get started with today's subject, we are reacting to Jillian Michaels debating a bunch of body positive activists this weekend for the normies only. So make sure you click the link in the comments and join as a member.
And what's funny is this video is like a related topic to that.
Yeah, so this will be like a teaser.
Yeah. So obviously Southwest used to have this woke policy where they would give morbidly obese people an extra seat for free. It was called their customer of size policy. They just changed it. So now,
Because shocker, it didn't work out.
shocker.
The majority of America is obese.
You just can't be given free seats like candy on Halloween.
That's
you get a free
crazy.
seat. You get a free seat.
Wow.
And
well, I guess it was for tall people too. Customer of size?
Yeah, but it's about your width.
Yeah, but if I was like a bodybuilder, I'd probably take advantage of it.
Maybe you could. I don't know. But they changed the policy. And so now if you require more than one seat, you have to pay for an additional seat. But it's led to this situation, which I don't think is amazing, where gate agents are like sizing people up and telling them like, you look like you need 2 seats.
You know, I think... I'm sorry, Japan literally makes it illegal to be fat. I don't care. I don't care. I understand that that in America, our foods taste really good and we have an overconsumption problem and we drive everywhere, so we don't walk enough. But tough, man. I'm sorry. Sometimes you got to enforce a standard. And if the airlines are going to be the ones to do it, let them do it.
Well, I think the problem here comes when it's like, how do you know who's fat or who's so fat they need a second seat? So you know how they have, here's my idea.
Pull out the tape measure.
I have a different idea. You know how they have the thing where it's like, if your bag fits in this, it goes in it's a carry-on. If not, you have to check it.
Oh, like the roller coaster. Before you get on a roller coaster, you have to see if you can fit in the seat.
Yeah, but they have that already for the bag. So like when you check in.
No, they need it for the seats.
They need a fake seat.
Yeah.
And then they sit. And if you fit in it, you don't have to buy a second one.
Yeah, it's
and
like
if you don't, then you have to buy a second one.
They should have it at check-in.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Not everyone has to go through it. Just the people
with a buckle.
Who look like
it's literally like an
dubious.
amusement park. I'm not kidding. That's what they do at the amusement parks. Normally it's for young kids who are too small for the rides. But I think we have evolved past that because if you watch the Disney plus-size Disney park hoppers,
You call them pork hoppers?
No!
Oh.
I said park. No, they all try to fit into the seats.
And they usually fail.
Yeah, they do. But again, I'm not like trying to just shame fat people. I just want to shame fat people who say it's healthy.
Well,
because the thing is, we all have our struggles. Some of them can be seen externally and some are more internal. And I don't think I'm in any place to call a fat person.
But I don't,
things.
So I'm not going to judge or harass an overweight person. Of course not. But it's not only people who say fat is healthy. It's also if you're entitled and don't take accountability for your own weight and your own choices. And that's the problem I have with these folks. So let's watch this first video of a guy complaining about getting discriminated against by Southwest.
Or wanting special treatment for your choices.
Like free seats.
Yeah.
So I am at the Kansas City airport for my...
What? Why are you reacting like that already?
The blonde tips, the tattoos, probably flying from Portland. I just, you can't make this. Like if I had to draw who I thought this was going to look like.
So I will say this. I watched like 10 of these videos of people saying that they got in trouble with Southwest and Southwest forced them to buy a second seat. Not one of them fit in the frame.
Like of the video?
Of the phone. Even when they were holding it way out. I kept waiting to see if any of them would fit and none of them did. All right, let's let him go.
6:30, 7 a.m. flight, checking my bags. right? And I was just checking in my bag at the priority lane because I fly priority. I fly all the time. All the time, right? A-list preferred, priority with everything else. Now, I understand Southwest changed their policy where, you know, if they feel like you might be big enough to need an extra seat, that they can ask you to pay for one. But I have never run into that.
So here's the problem. They say, so many people say, I've never had an issue, is what they say.
So you knew the policy and you're shocked at the policy being enforced because you want special treatment?
No, you're missing what I'm saying. They're saying it's not fair that Southwest is suddenly asking me to buy a second seat because I fly all the time and I've never had an issue.
Right.
The people next to you probably did. The people next to you were probably like this, like getting smothered.
Because they might have been giving him a free seat anyways. That's why I was confused.
Oh, also that. They recently switched the policy. But I think what he's saying in this context is that he's never needed a second seat.
I think he's saying
opinion.
that he was getting it for free.
I don't think so. But
I mean, look, if you're an airline, you have to look out for all of the passengers to have a good experience. And unfortunately, like if you are that big, I understand this is very embarrassing for you, but it is very uncomfortable. And I've been stuck in the middle seat between two very large people. It is very uncomfortable to be in that position as a passenger who is just like collateral damage because of your choices. I'm sorry. Like they have to look out for other passengers who are going to be sitting next to you. That's also only fair.
Not only do they need to look out for them, they're more important. They paid for their seat. They're entitled to their seat. Your encroachment into their seat is your problem that you are responsible
and
for.
Also, like, I don't want to touch strangers.
No.
Bitches are gross. If you're spilling into my seat, I don't want, and it's not because you're fat. It's because I don't know you.
Yeah.
If I knew you and you were fat, I'd probably use it as a pillow. But I don't know you like that. You could be greasy as you know?
Eat all that pizza.
Ever in my life. And just now, the lady at the counter had to go get her supervisor because they felt that I was too big to get on the plane without paying for 2 seats when I fly weekly and sit in my seat just fine.
But as you won't show us your full body though. He's saying I fit just fine. Zoom out, bitch. We'll be the judge of that.
Let's interview your last person that you flew next to.
I'm telling you, obviously we can only see so much because he won't show us the full frame. He does not look to me like he neatly fits in his seat and doesn't bleed into the other person's seat.
I have a lot of empathy for people who are overweight because I understand, you know, food noise is a thing and it's very hard. It's an addiction. But given that it is an addiction, let's just put this into perspective. Smokers are also not allowed to smoke on a plane. We don't accommodate them.
They really should be.
Even on 12-hour flights.
No, they should. But
you know what they have to do? They have to find a nicotine patch.
They have to cope.
They have to cope.
It's their responsibility.
So if your addictions are something that we all have addictions, we are bringing them with us wherever we go. If yours encroaches on other people, that is a you problem.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sorry.
And I agree with you that I don't go out of my way to be mean to fat people. We all have our things that we struggle with. I completely agree. But then once you start being entitled and refusing to take accountability or playing the victim, then I'm gonna have words for you.
It's like when an alcoholic wants to catch an attitude with me. I'm like, bro, you're an alcoholic. Get it together.
All right, let's keep watching.
And the lady had the audacity to say, "I'm just concerned about the people sitting next to you for their comfortability." Well, what about my comfortability with the conversation having in front of all of these people?
You should have thought about that before you started eating in excess.
Yeah, I know.
I mean, I don't mean to be, I feel bad because this sounds very mean and I know that like.
So I don't feel bad because he's asking for it.
I don't feel bad making fun of him. I feel bad because a lot of our viewers are overweight.
But they know we're not talking about that.
No, I know. But I know that I know how it can be perceived. So that's why I'm kind of walking on eggshells this episode. But like, it's just the truth. You have to think about the consequences of your actions. I'm sorry.
Mm-hmm.
Other people we don't need to tiptoe around your feelings when you're the one who caused the problem. And maybe it's been harder for you. Maybe it's hereditary. Maybe your parents ate a lot and then you learn to cope with food. There's all these different reasons on why we do things, but that doesn't change the fact that we are still responsible for our actions and we have free will.
Mm-hmm.
About how you think I'm too big to fly, when keep in mind, I know I'm a hefty guy, but I've lost over 60 pounds since Christmas. I fit in the
good
seat
for you.
just fine. Everyone.
I am totally happy for you.
I think that's great.
I think that's great. I think you should keep working on that.
But that
and then you could solve this problem. You could solve this whole problem for everyone.
And you're actually you're in the process of solving the problem.
But in the
you're
meantime,
in the process doesn't mean the problem is solved.
You still have to take accountability.
Correct.
I'm proud of you for that, though.
Everyone
that's
is
great.
comfortable. We're good, right? I have never run into this level of.
But
what person is going to tell you they're not comfortable?
That's the problem.
Next to
Like
you?
they assume because no one said anything to them, no one was ever uncomfortable. When in reality, most people are deeply uncomfortable, but they haven't want to said anything.
Well, the
they
one
don't wanna
time
make you
somebody
feel bad.
says something, I saw this on Twitter like a few months back. The one time somebody says, this person's spilling into my seat, I'm uncomfortable, it gets recorded and then put on Twitter, and that person gets fired from their job for being like fatphobic.
Wait, that happened?
Yeah, there was a regular lady who she might have been a little bit Karen-like, but she didn't want the person next to her spilling into her seat, and everybody starts recording her.
It hasn't happened to me in years, but several years ago, this happened to me multiple times where I was so uncomfortable an entire flight because of this, and I didn't say anything. Now I would, because now I'm a mouthy bitch and I don't give.
It happened to me like on the way back from LA.
Oh, I would have refused to take off until they removed this person from the plane because they don't get to be in my seat. I paid for my seat.
Yeah.
And if people want to record me and call me names, they can. I don't care. I'd stand 10 toes
I know it'd be like a Jubilee episode. Actually, that'd be kind of fun.
But I'm in a unique situation. I totally understand why a normal person wouldn't want to do that and risk becoming the villain of the internet.
If anything, this would help your career.
Yeah, I don't care.
Right.
But so it bothers me that he's conflating no one has complained with no one has been inconvenienced. Those two are not the same thing, my friend.
He's clearly emotional. He's not using any logic. The arguments are falling short. I don't know. Are people just not capable of forming a coherent argument before they speak?
Yeah.
Like they don't.
Bitches can barely read.
I know. I'm like expecting people to like examine their argument and then figure out the opposing argument to their argument to make sure that there's no holes in their argument.
Brother, they put instructions on the shampoo bottle.
I know.
Level of just pure audacity in my life. And they even had the nerve to say that this is a return flight, and so they don't understand why this conversation hasn't had before. Why do you have to get your supervisor if this is a return flight? I obviously didn't have to pay for an extra seat here or on any of the other flights that I've had all year long. So the fact that they're willing to do this to a customer who flies this much is insane. Okay. Southwest, you need to start doing better.
I knew it. I was going to have him pause it and say, wait, I want to put money on if he says do better. The idea that you can tell an airline, I spend so much money with you, you need to do what I want is a relic of the past. Do you know how much money these airlines make? They have essentially monopolized the market. Smaller airlines cannot compete, and if they ever fail, the government will bail them out. They don't give a about your platinum status. I'm sorry, they don't.
Also, it doesn't make sense. It's like, if they have a policy, why would it just not apply to you because you fly a lot? Like, that's not how policies work.
No, this is like just a selfish, emotional rant. But we've all had those moments. Isn't there another video?
Yes, and this one is from Jamira.
Okay, this girl.
Or Samira, who decided to weigh in because this is her whole shtick, and she decided to call Southwest and try to make a point. Let's watch. And she tried to compare herself to a broad-shouldered athlete. Let's listen.
Hi, Samira. Thank you for calling Southwest Airlines. Your call will be recorded and transcribed for training and quality purposes.
Hips don't lie, but they might not let you fly.
A friend of mine were looking.
How Southwest customer of size policy is inherently discriminatory. Let's listen.
Looking to possibly book with Southwest for an upcoming trip to New Orleans, but I did have 2 questions before booking just to make sure that it would be okay. I, in the past, have been considered a customer of size, so I know that I'll need to purchase an additional seat, but
she doesn't fit in the frame. Not a single one of these bitches could fit in the frame.
No seat, but my friend, he's not like wide in the hips, but he is a professional athlete, so he has like broad shoulders. Would he also need to purchase a second seat or just me?
So the customer size, I guess, is considered based on from one breast to the next. So I can certainly give, of course, like the dimensions of the seat.
Since you said it's just they go off the bottom of the seat, not the top of the seat, I guess he would be okay.
It would seem to me that he probably would.
He usually doesn't have any problems on like other airlines. I just wanted to confirm just because I was, made aware that now it was kind of up to the discretion and judgment of gate agents as to like who would be allowed on the plane and who wouldn't. So I just wanted to triple check and try to do, my due diligence ahead of time to see if we needed to buy, the fourth seat instead of the 3.
You and him are traveling together, right?
Yes.
So it would seem to me that if you purchase the additional seat, you guys are traveling together and get your seats all in one row, that would probably accommodate the extra room that he might need up top.
That seems a little unfair. It seemed kind of fair that the financial responsibility would fall on me to get the extra seat, not him to get the extra seat. But that's not your fault. I totally understand that has nothing to do with you. Since I have to get the extra seat, am I also allotted an additional carry-on and personal item on board?
I don't believe so, but I'm going to double check that to make sure.
Okay. In my brain, that makes sense. If I have to pay double, why can't I have double?
It says the customer size must adhere to the policy of 1 carry-on, 1 personal item, regardless of the number of seats purchased.
Seems a little unfair to me. If I have to pay double the amount off of something based off my hips and someone else doesn't have to because of their shoulders, I think the least I could get is an extra bag or something, Sounds good. Thank you so much.
Okay.
I do agree with that last point.
I agree with the
If you do have to pay for 2 seats, you should get 2 carry-ons. That's valid.
Crazy. But everything else, like
she's calling about her imaginary friend to try to prove a point that does not make sense.
The gate agent never said that the friend wasn't gonna have to buy another seat. All they said was like, I don't know the friend's dimensions.
Yeah.
And it's based off of the gate agent or the person never said that if your imaginary friend is actually huge, Southwest would probably tell them they would have, like if this person was a bodybuilder, they'd probably tell them they have to buy another seat.
And what the guy was saying was that between the 2 of you, you can probably fit in 3 seats.
Correct. Which was an actual solution that would save both.
But she didn't want an actual solution. Right. She wanted to complain and be the victim.
To a customer service agent.
Anytime I see one of these videos where they're filming themselves calling some low-level customer service employee that does not know they're being used for content, it's almost always going to be done in bad faith, and they're looking for like a gotcha. They're not actually looking for help, and the person on the other end doesn't actually have like information or any decision-making power, and it's stupid. And I just think it's ridiculous.
But the only point that this call proved was that they need to allow you to have an extra carry-on and bag.
Yes.
That's the only thing.
Maybe those other people should also have to buy 2 seats, but that doesn't mean you should get free seats,
But
girl.
We don't have proof that big-shouldered people haven't been having this policy enforced on them too.
Yes.
It's just there's not really anybody who has big enough shoulders.
How big would your shoulders have to be?
To be as big as you, Samira. Like, I don't understand. And also, it's like the comfortability is very different for somebody if just up here is bigger, but your hips are spilling over into my arms. Like, there's a very big difference between those bodies when it comes to comfortability.
There's a difference between having a big back and being a big back.
Sure. Correct. And even if and again, there is no proof that Southwest is not telling these IFBB pros who are literally walking out like the Hulk, like that they don't have to buy another seat. The problem is that most of those guys already buy themselves, and I know this because I'm friends with a lot of them, they already buy themselves 2 seats because they don't want to be a nuisance on other people and they take responsibility for their actions.
And that's a foreign concept to entitled people like Samira.
Correct, because in order to get a body of that size, even if you're on steroids, it requires a lot of discipline and a lot of accountability, and they don't even bother with this.
And you guys are allergic to all of the above.
Yes.
And salad.
Ooh, I'd love a salad right now.
I want to read you this post that somebody put on Threads Southwest requiring plus-size passengers to purchase 2 seats is deeply dehumanizing. No one should have to pay a penalty for their body or be put in a position that invites embarrassment and shame just to travel.
Oh my God, I'm so happy that the comments are 1.6 thousand and the likes are only 309.
You knew this bitch got ate up.
The world is healing.
Even on Threads!
The world is healing. Like, that actually made me very optimistic. Like that was like
a little bit of hope core.
It was
for
like
you
when the
today.
sun comes out during what's that childhood show with the baby sun? Teletubbies.
Teletubbies.
Yeah. That's what I felt. That's what I transported to a Teletubbies episode at reading that.
All right, guys, let us know what you think of all this in the comments. Make sure to subscribe. Do become a channel member to see us talk body positivity and Jillian Michaels' big Jubilee debate. Hit the link. It'll help support our content as well. Hit the join button or the link in the description. And we'll be back with more normal gays real soon.